and welcome to an episode of We're Not Wizards. My name is Richard.
My name's also Colin.
And it's 2018, so Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, even though it's almost like halfway through January.
Isn't there a law that we're not allowed to say Happy New Year now?
Don't say that. I don't know.
It's in 12th night.
I'm in a different time flux, so I've decided that years and stuff like that don't count, because I'm at that age where I'm kind of like, if I'm counting the years, I'm counting my impending doom.
I just forget it.
I just don't bother at
What?
all.
It's a new year. What?
It's a new year. For people that haven't listened to us for the first time, the reason that we do this is because there's quite simply not enough podcasts out there about board games.
No, I've looked.
I've looked as well. Definitely not. There's only 3 podcasts from Scotland that do
entirety of Scotland.
In the entirety of Scotland that do board games. One of them is the Unlucky Frog Gaming, and the other one is the First Player Marker, who we still haven't spoken to them yet.
No.
Oh. It's quite terrible. It's quite shocking. And the second reason that we do this is because we thought we'd have a chat, didn't we?
Yeah, totally. Why not?
Why not? You know? What are we going to chat about?
People are going to be confused, but like, Richard's not with a guest. No, he's with his co-host.
Yes, what is going on? What, are you going to start doing the history? But there's going to be people going to be saying, but isn't he going to do the thing about... and the second reason is he's nosy and he likes to find out about people, so he's going to have a look back at the past and then a stare at the present and then a peek off into the future. No.
3 shows, they said. Here we are again, they said.
I know. I can't even know what episode it is. It's like, do you know, actually, it's episode, I think, number 12 or 13.
I think so. It's something pitifully small like that.
But it's like, I think in total it's like episode 137. He's totaling up the count. I think we did like 98 episodes in 2017. I know. What was I doing? I was like staying at home and potentially having to look at marriage guidance.
Oh no!
But anyway,
he's hoping no significant others are listening to this podcast.
I know that. Yeah, but what we thought we'd get together and we thought we'd chat about a couple of games that we've been played over the piste.
We have.
Over the piste while we've been skiing. While we've been skiing.
Oh.
Yes. Top hoe. No, they don't do that. That'd be people on horseback.
Tally-ho would also be in planes, but chucks away, what, eh?
Yes, sir. Good, sir. There's a couple of games we got to the table which have been very, very good.
We've got lots. So many games. I've forgotten.
We've been playing a large plethora of games of late, so we thought we'd have a chat about a couple of them. Now, before we dive in, we thought, just in the interests of clarity, clarity of reviews and things like that, because I know there's been things said about people of late with regards to reviews and what constitutes a review. So just to be perfectly clear, when we talk about games, we're talking about our first impressions. It's just whether or not we liked it when we got to the table, whether or not we liked it and we'd like to get it back again. We might have gone on and played it a couple more times. We might have stuck it back on the shelf and never touched it again. But it's just a little bit of a first impression.
Maybe a little later because we've got too many games.
It's all fun. It's all fun. It's nothing serious, you know.
So it's a bit like WTF. We're now going to talk about sliders for the next half hour.
We're going to talk about the graphics. We're going to talk about the replayability. We're just going to talk
menus. Lots of menus.
Exactly. How did you find the game? I found it on the shelf where I'd left it. Did it have some dust in it? Had a little bit of dust in it because I got it delivered in August and I still hadn't got it off the shelf. The first game that we're going to talk about is no very big and I'm awfully shy. I just walked down from the
Isle of Skye.
Isle of Skye.
Wow, that was a jump.
That was a jump. That wasn't a segue. It was almost like a flippant charity begging campaign or something. Wow. Isle of Skye.
Where's my auto reader?
Isle of Skye. Where's my script? There isn't one. Do we edit? We don't. Is it good to have you back? It always is. Isle of Skye, Mayfair Games. is it's a mixture. Because when I was looking through the rules, I was like, oh, I'm quite daunted by it. And our good friend of the show, David Wright, owner and organiser of Tabletop Scotland, which is a con coming to you very, very soon.
Well, coming to us.
Coming to us. Unless people are coming over or up from other places.
We don't want riffraff.
Or English people. Sorry. I have to cut that bit out. Doesn't matter. He decided he has, and he played Isle of Skye, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to play Isle of Skye, and he says, I'll teach you. So
he's good that way.
He is. He's very, very handy in that thing. So we got out our copy, put it on the table.
Also playing with Simon, I think.
Simon,
yeah.
And was John there as well? Or maybe it was it Andy, or maybe it was...
I think it was Andy.
Was it Andy? I don't know if it was.
Bruce.
Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The nature of the game of Isle of Skye is quite simple, is that you are a chieftain, and your idea is that you are basically wanting to build yourself up a fine bit of land and basically become the high best chieftain that there ever was. And how you do this is it's a mixture of auctioning. There's a little bit of kind of decision-y making. There's an awful lot of tile laying.
Yep.
And then there's an awful lot of kind of strategy based on... It's kind of like changing rewards, changing point scoring. Because you'll correct me, obviously, if I'm wrong.
It's very like a Navar game. What is that game called? It's about building a city in Babylon.
Babylon?
No.
We'll need to find out.
Alibaba? No.
Well, Alibaba's like a marketplace in China, I think.
I played it with that chappie.
It's not Kingdom Builder.
No, he didn't describe it very well to me.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We'll not cut this bit either, because we like, anybody, if you know what it is, then send us a tweet and let us know.
There'll be points.
There will be points. There'll not be prizes, though. It's just, don't phone, it's just for fun. Isle of Skye is one of these strange games that, like,
It's lovely.
First, it's a beautiful looking game, first of all. The artwork on it is stunning. You get a nice little kind of screen to cover your intentions. Because the game comes in, like, first parts. The first one is the bidding.
Yep.
So
well, first one you pick the tiles.
Yes.
Every person gets 4 tiles, which they randomly. Is it 4 or is it 3?
3.
It's 3. Which you randomly pull out of a bag.
Yes. And
then you look at them, you put them down in an order, and that becomes important for the next step.
Yes, it does, because you put the tiles. The tiles get laid in front of the screen, and then the coins get laid behind the screen.
Yep.
And you've got to decide between the ones that you have. You've got to decide one you're not going to keep. You're going to get rid of, and then 2 you get to put coins down. Now the idea of the game is, this part of the game is that if you want to keep a tile, then you'll want to put as much coinage down behind that tile as possible to basically price it out the market. You'll also want to maybe put a couple of coins down on a tile that is you're wanting to sell, so you get some money from that kind of tile.
Once you've decided that, it then goes on to the sort of second phase.
Yes.
And that is the auction round. And going from player 1 around.
Yes.
He looks at all the tiles on offer.
Yes.
And then he goes, that tile is a tile I need.
Yes.
And then if he wants to buy, he's got to beat the amount of coins placed by the other person.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where the how many coins you put on a particular island.
So basically you give, if there was something, if you got the coin value, you beat it, you take control of that tile. And then, fantastic, that's what you do, you're able to then control that tile. It goes round and people kind of make their decisions as to what kind of tile that they're going to buy. The first player token
You
also
can
changes
lose all
as well.
tiles because people might buy all your tiles,
Yes,
and you might not have enough money to buy someone else's tile.
yes,
So you
yes.
can end up not being able to place a tile.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, you can be in that situation. You can also be in the situation where you might decide that you just want to go out and ruin somebody's day, and for no other reason than pure spite.
That became a crucial thing in the game we had.
Yeah, because you just went ahead and decided, 8 coins for that, is it, sir? I'm going to put down 9. I'm going to take that one.
It's like certain, depending on the victory condition of that round.
Yeah.
You might go, if he gets that, then he gets 9 points.
Yeah.
If I buy it,
Yeah.
I might only get 2 points from it, but it stops him getting 9 points.
Exactly. And that takes you on to the next stage, because then you've got these tiles in front of you, and in a Carcassonne type style,
Yep.
you've then got to place the tiles that you've won.
Yeah.
Now, just like Carcassonne, you've got to match areas. So you've got mountainous areas, you've got plain kind of areas.
Seas.
Seas. You might decide to match them up, and then you got to put them down. You got to take into account: are you trying to build up bigger areas of land? Are you trying to connect? You've got animals on the land, individual
there's
tiles as well. Yeah,
scoring things that can be on the actual tile.
Yeah.
So boats.
Yeah.
Livestock.
Yeah.
2 different styles of livestock, because it was
coos and sheep.
And sheep.
Sheep beasties.
There was whiskey barrels.
Yeah, there was whiskey barrels.
Roads.
Yes.
And farms.
Yes.
And I think there was also, was it castle?
Yeah, I think it was a castle or a lighthouse. I potentially think it might have been a lighthouse.
It could be.
It could be. Could be. Why you've got all these so many different things, and it's like you're like, well, that's good, because if I finish off a road, or if I fill myself with kind of like whiskey barrels, or if I, say for instance, manage to put 3 sheep within close proximity of each other, that means I'm scoring maximum points. It's not the case, is it, Colin?
Nope.
Because every round the scoring changes.
Yep. There is 5 different scoring options.
Yes. Depending on the rounds and depending on the number of players.
There are tokens that you pick at the very beginning of the game.
Yes.
And it's a communal, so this will be scoring token A,
yes.
B, C, D, and
yes.
E.
Yes.
And then as you play the game, each round will be a combination of those tokens. So in round 1 of the game we played, it was A and C were the 2 scoring tokens for that round.
Yeah.
And
then for instance, those ones in turn might say you're going to get lots of points if you have lots of sheep.
Yep.
Or you might get lots of points if you've got whiskey barrels, or you might get tons of points if you've completed full land masses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Land, which was one of the reasons that you ended up scoring kind of lots and lots of points. If this sounds complicated so far, the fact of the matter is, it's not.
It's not.
It's so elegant. It's so. What it is, the instructions on it kind of portray a game that is far more complicated than what it actually is. You're essentially playing a set of mini games that the combination of those mini games, the outcome of those mini games, have a direct effect on the next mini game, and so on and so forth. You basically, once you score, you move your little lord round it's a little disc.
Track. Yeah,
it's a disc, but it's a lord. It's a disc,
Chieftain.
Use your
chieftain.
Use your imagination. It is a chieftain. Okay. But the interesting thing is that depending on where you were, and depending on where you were in terms of points and things like that as well, you'll find you get more money. So generally, being somebody that's like furthest back on the score track is usually pretty good for earning you cash. The guys up the very front earn less money to start the round as. The guys at the back basically get more money as time.
It's to try and level it out.
Yeah.
So as you get closer to the end of the game, the person who's running behind has got that chance of possibly buying success.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what Simon's game plan was. Simon seemed to continually be magically at the back of everybody in order to kind of get together as much money as possible. So when it came...
He banked, I think, he banked on scoring the last round, really.
Yeah.
Was what he was looking at.
Yeah, yeah. And how he was going to do that is when we spoke about this earlier, but was making it really, really difficult for people to buy stuff from him, and at the same time having enough money so he could basically go in and demand the tiles that he wanted to. You know, it was kind of, it was, it just, it's one of these games it's one of these games that whenever I look at it, I look at it with a smile on my face and think that's something I could easily get back to the table. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a heavy game. It's kind of it would be.
It's a wee brain burner when you're playing.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
Actually, when you sit down and look at how to play it, it's really it's one of those games where it's obvious what the next step is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
and it's got a nice little mixture of mechanics that if you you get to the point where you're kind of planning ahead and you're hoping that certain people are selling. Don't buy tiles.
Don't buy that tile. He bought the tile.
And you end up like with no tiles, and you're like, oh, I've just got to go ahead and buy these tiles that I don't necessarily, and then I've got to play them.
Yep.
But then, for whatever reason, you might find that tile might benefit you 2 rounds down the line, where
possibly,
you've managed to put kind of stuff together. So, is there strategy? Yes,
lots of it,
buckets of the stuff, barrels. You could even argue in saying, is it going to put some people out of reach? No. I'd still think, as long as you've maybe got if you've got maybe 2 people that have played it before, I think they could quite happily take another 2 non-players through and
yeah, as with all games, you know, the person that has played it before is going to be at a massive advantage. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's where we were lucky with Dave and Simon when we were playing, because...
Yeah, well, Dave did put his tile down the wrong way.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
It was a mistake, and he's not going to forget about it. But yeah, but no, it was, yeah, it looks really, really nice. It's relatively inexpensive to pick up as well. I think you can probably pick up a copy for probably about the 25, 30 quid level. But we can do a check on that. Yeah, it's definitely kind of worthwhile kind of picking up and having a shot. So for something that we would get to the table, yes, we'd definitely get it to the table again. So absolutely no problem at all. Interestingly enough, the other game...
I would say you can pick it up for as little as £15.
Really?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Stop the pause the podcast. Go and get it just now. Give yourself a happy January. But going from controlling islands and being a chieftain to being a king running around with different territory, the next game that we dived into afterwards was Kingdomino.
Yep.
We've spoken about it before. Well, I've spoken about it quite a lot of times. I've
been stoic and silent on the topic.
You've been no comment. What do you think of Kingdomino? No comment. No comment. No comment. Just a little comment. No comment. Kingdomino, Blue Orange, have created probably 2 games that I had a vast amount of joy with over the Christmas period. The first one being Kingdomino. It keeps on coming up on the podcast because 6 weeks later, it's still getting played. I took my copy of Kingdomino over to Belfast with me over Christmas.
Did you? I didn't know you did that.
And and basically the nephews, we
Yeah,
all play the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice
we played
one.
it on several occasions. It's just
It's when people who aren't board gamers turn around and go, "Oh, I want a wee game of that."
Yes,
That's when you know you've got a cracking wee game.
It's probably been spoken about so many times, but in essence, it's one of the most simple. It's a real gateway game. It defines what a gateway game does. And for people that haven't played it before, stop what you're doing. It's probably £15 as well. Go and get yourself a copy because I've played this enough to be able to say, hand on my heart, that it is pretty much one of the very simplistic fun games that we've played in a while. It works really, really well with adults as it does with children, which is an unusual game for a gateway game, because usually gateway games, if they're aimed at kids, there's usually not an awful lot for adults in terms of the strategy can be quite... there's not enough depth to the strategy to provide maybe any kind of long-term type
there's
of
a new
play.
version out.
There's Queendomino.
Yeah, I
with
didn't
extra
know.
stuff on it. Yes, I've heard mixed reports of people they don't know if they like the changes to it, but there'll be such
Change Wayne's World. What?
I know. We fear change, but but yeah, people are saying Queendomino's more like a gamer game.
Ah, right. Okay.
More gamery type
Added
things.
too many mechanics.
A little
in or
bit
something,
more, couple
or?
extra functionalities and mechanics in order to kind of extend the life and also allow you to do kind of tile changes, as far as I'm aware.
Right.
There's kind of red tiles which you can change in order to kind of up your score. But in essence, Kingdomino, very, very simple. You have a plethora of tiles. I think there's about 48. Each of them are numbered. Yeah. They've got numbers from 1 to 48 on the back. What you do is you draw 4 tiles blind. You lay them out in front of you in numerical order. You turn those tiles over, and then what happens is, depending if you've got 2, 3, 4 players, you put those tiles. You put your king. You choose a tile to put your king on. Now, what happens is, in the next round, the person that is at the top, going down the way, they pay first. Second player plays second, third and fourth, and so on. What they do is there's different lands. You get grass, you get woodland, you get sea, you get desert, you get wasteland, and you get caves. And they come in various stages of rarity.
They're all a nice, different colour.
Beautiful, lovely
so really,
little...
you're not going to go, is that grassland?
No.
Is that grassland? No, it's a desert.
And
you're not going to suffer that problem.
Beautiful little Easter eggs on there that if you actually spend your time look at the tiles. For instance, you've got an ocean tile that there's quite clearly like some kind of sea monster, swimming underneath. You've got kind of little farm tiles where you've got a farmer with a little kind of horse and cart going. It's just lovely little scarecrows with crows and stuff like that all go flying around it. But the idea is you match things together like it's dominoes. So you've got to put a field next to a field. You've got to put a cave next to a cave. And then on some of the tiles there's crowns. And what those crowns do is that crown means you get 1 point for each of the same territories that you connect. If it happens that you've got 2 tiles that have got a crown on each of them and it's the same territory, you score 2 points for each of those. And so it mounts up. So you get the more rare stuff. You get the caves that have like 3 crowns on them, 2 crowns on them, and you can really mount up the points. So if you get all the caves together, you can end up scoring at the end 50 points for like about 5 or 6 tiles. It's absolutely so much fun. The strategy really kicks in when there's more adults playing, because you'll become very aware of what you're going to be getting and what you're wanting to be picking up. So there is a difference between... I play with my youngest, who is starting to beat me because he starts to recognise which tiles are. Play it with my middle 2, my middle son, he instantly is in there trying to figure out strategies and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're trying to build like a square, a 5x5 square, or if it's 2-player, you can actually do a 7x7 square which you worked out, which makes it even more saucy.
I don't think it'd be the same as 2-player. I think it. To me, I only played it as the floor player, so
it's still good as 2-player.
Yeah,
it's still good as 2-player when you've got like a 7x7 grid. 5x5 is a bit more. 5x5 it's a bit more quicker, but you're also missing out on on some of the tiles. If you play a 7x7, you're still using up all 48 tiles.
Yeah.
So it works out really, really nicely. I can't really go on enough about how much this game is going to get continually played over a lot of other bigger games that I've been wanting to play. It is, I mean, and at the end of it, the beauty at the end of it is, once you've finished, you've got a little cardboard castle. You've got a little cardboard castle that sits there. There's no rhyme or reason for having a castle. Wow. It's just there. It's a little cardboard castle. And you put your king in your castle. And that's you finish and game over, and you top up your points, and the person with the highest score kind of wins. It's very good. I do like it. As I say, I will see what people think of Kingdomino over the piece. Because Kingdomino is one of these things that seem to sneak up. I think it got real bigger recognition when I think it won the Spiel des Jahres. So I think it got a lot of recognition after that.
For that,
we'll see what happens with Kingdomino afterwards. As I say, I'd just say 2 games that we played. Second one's Tumble Tree.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but we'll leave Tumble Tree for another time. Just to say, if you've got another kind of, it is again £12.
Yeah, well, it was really cheap. Yeah.
Oh, it's just inexpensive. It's not cheap.
And they've got another variant which is almost exactly the same as Tumble Tree.
Yes.
And it's about recycling garbage.
Just Blue Orange, for me, a couple of games I've played, and they're just very, very simplistic. Nice games that kind of suit, they're very, very gateway, and they suit that kind of crowd. Very simple to pick up. But yeah, so as I say, Kingdomino, play it, love it, stick your little king in your castle at the end. Love a little castle. He's got a castle, he's not got a catacomb though.
No.
Castles and catacombs. We played it quite recently, and it's Elzra Games. It was kickstarted about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And it came along with Catacombs kind of 3rd edition, and
well, it did for me because I went hell for leather on buying.
You went everything. I'll have the lot. You had the menu. It was like Mr. Creosote. I'll have the lot. Tick, 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 tick.
Elzra Games, take my money.
No. Take my money, you fool. Elzra Games, friend of the show, Aaron West. Aaron he's a star guy. You know what I mean? He creates games which seem to be incredibly good fun. We ranted and raved about Catacombs
totally.
Probably a good year ago. We're going to rant and rave about Catacombs and Castles because it is, as far as dexterity games go, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really simplistic. It's kind of
it's Catacombs.
Yes.
But instead of being Catacombs,
yes,
it's a team-based game. So,
yes.
So it's got that element of competition in there as opposed to...
Yeah. It's kind of fun because Catacombs, as you say, it was almost like a dungeon crawler.
Well, it was. It was a whole D&D campaign in a few series of cards, which I loved.
And you pick up kind of extra kind of little abilities and mechanics and pieces that you could use. Catacombs and Castles is different in that what they've done for when you're first starting the game is you're kind of restricted on the abilities that you have in order to get used to the mechanics, and then going on you've got kind of like 2 variants. You've got the ability to play a team game, so you pick, you've got 3 players or 3 characters you pick, and then on the other side of it you've got the ability to almost go up against like one of the kind of lords, so it's still got the kind of the Catacombs original thing. So if you want to run a cheeky kind of semi-ish campaign, I guess if you wanted to you could, but the idea is that you're rushing up to defeat this big lord, or it's a team game. Now it was you and it was me and it was Mr. Leo.
It was Mr. Leo,
and we played the team game, and its mechanics are simple, aren't they?
Yeah, well, yes and no. There's a wee layer to them now. Because there's so many extra abilities that it did mean that we did have to stop once or twice and go, how does this work? And then, have a quick look in the rulebook, and then that's how it works. And then,
but there's no, once you've got it, it's simple. I mean, basically, you have got a wooden disc. The wooden disc has got a character sticker on it. That is your character.
Mm-hmm.
To the left of you, you'll have a card for that character. And underneath that character, there is there's its main skill, and there's 2 additional skills that it can use as well. Your character has a little bit of armour. An armour chitty.
That is all designed, the wee chitty and how much life your team has. That's all completely decided before you start the game. So if you want a long game, dole out more armour tokens and more life tokens. Yeah. If you want a shorter game, take them away.
Take it to 3. Take it to 6. Do whatever you want to do. It's kind of, there's interesting that your guys can do different types of attacks. You can do a direct melee, so you can just basically flick a disc at another character, and
if
then
that hits it, you score a damage point.
Now,
if you flick it, you hit one bad guy, and then you rebound into another bad guy, and then rebound into another bad guy. That would be 3 damage you would just do.
That was pretty cool. That'd be a pretty good thing. But the thing is, when you damage somebody, the reward isn't just knocking the guy down a little bit of a health point. The reward is that you can take that damage token, and you can change it, and you can put it on one of your character cards. Because your character's special abilities are basically they're charged up. So you'll have, say for instance, I was playing, one of mine was, I think I was playing a hunter, Lara the Hunter, and she's got a couple of special abilities, and once you charge your special abilities, you've got the ability, you basically say, well, I'm going to use the castle special abilities, rather than use your normal kind of abilities, and it'll do everything like, say, everybody in your team is allowed to do an extra melee attack, or everybody in the whole team is allowed to run away and hide, or are allowed to do a fireball attack, or do a fireball, a melee. Don't think I've forgotten that you didn't do that on Friday. But it's so simple. And it's prior knowledge of how the game works has very little bearing on the potential outcome of the game, because it's a dexterity game. So it depends who's got the best dex.
I need it to move 3 inches to over there, and that means I've just got to push it. Oh no, I pushed it too hard.
Exactly, it's gone 7 instead, or it's gone across the other side.
Now
of
it's
the
right
board.
in the open.
Or I've just ricocheted it off that person. Or and you've also, it's not because you've just not, you're not in charge of one character, you're in charge of 3 characters. There's a bit of team management there as well, because it's the case of, if you get big wooden blocks in the game, and we've not mentioned that. You get a board, but you get these wooden blocks in the game, and they're not unsubstantial.
No, they're big, chunky.
2 by 2, 2 inches by 2 inches, or that would be like 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters.
Which means you can lay out the board differently each time you play it. It's one of the problems with Catacombs, of the board has cutouts. And there's big wooden pieces that slot into those cutouts to do the same effect, but they're static and you can't move them about.
But in Catacombs and Castles, the first thing that you do is you take like these 6 or 8 wooden blocks and you just place them. Some of them are cylinders. Some of them are long bits of wood. Some of them are short kind of cubes. Oblongs. I do like an oblong, sir. But what does that mean?
Millennials won't understand what that is.
I know. It's so bad. An oblong is basically like a rectangular block of wood. They're all painted grey, but they look fantastic. Go and Google image it. You'll see what we're talking about. It's absolutely brilliant. But having like these cylinders in play means that you can try ricochet shots. You can aim for cover and not bother to attack. If you're under attack constantly, it can change the tide of the kind of the battle and essentially the game. If you manage to get
was
the
that
right
wee
ricochet,
move you did where you scooted up to the cover, and then that particular character fired a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to place within an inch of your character. The arrow attack.
Yeah.
And that meant you could actually shoot round the cover and hit my chappie.
I was just like, safe. I was like,
he doesn't know this tactical awareness.
And then I took this, and then I got my token, and I put it into something, which the cards, the kind of the funniest thing about the kind of the power up cards for like the lawful good people. Are they've got squirrels on them.
Yeah.
It's like reinforcements. It's like everybody to arms. And it's not like pictures of butch people warriors.
It's angry squirrels.
It's angry squirrels kind of going, and you're just like, what are you doing?
And the Catacombs have a slime. It's a wee slime doing it.
It's just fantastic. It's Quanchai Moriana, I think the one person Quancha. They are the lead artist on it. The art is just
the art's lovely.
The art is fantastic.
Ever since because the original Catacombs, it was always very serious art on all the PCs.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And then when third edition came out, and I saw it, and I just went, I need to buy this, and I went on this massive search on the interwebs to find it. And was able to track down this one company that still had a copy of it. And I was like, take my money.
The thing about it, it is Quanchai Moria. So
that's some memory you've got.
It was absolutely fun. Just the art on it alone is just because it's not, as you say, it's not like a typical kind of what you look in the dungeon crawler. I've seen his art. He's starting to get commissions for other work as well, which is really good.
It fits the game so well. It's light-hearted fun.
It's the whole point. It's not a serious, and there's so many dungeon crawlers out there, and we're not going to name names. Kill many or not, we're not going to name names. that you look at it and you go, I know Fear and Dread. Fear and Dread is good. Okay, I understand, but fun.
Fun. It's not serious.
It's not serious.
It's not Gloomhaven.
It's definitely not Gloomhaven. But on the other,
that box is going to kill my back.
I still need to see this Gloomhaven box. But as I say, it's not serious and it's not fun, and because it's a dexterity game, you're kind of opening it up to young players. I mean, my youngest, I could see him playing it. I would just have to explain to him what character he was using. This is the shot. If you're using this character, this is a shot.
You've got to do this and this and this.
We'd get rid of the superpowers. We wouldn't necessarily put them on in the first game, but then we could just fire about, and he would absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I can see it. So as far as, there's Catacombs Conquest, which is coming out, which is the next one, which I believe is it's a game where the kind of the skills are decided by cards.
Right.
So you've got almost like a generic character, and their skills can be decided by the cards that they have.
Purely so you build him up how you like.
Yeah, and then you've got Catacombs Monster Pit, which is going to be a deck game.
Oh, okay.
Which is coming out. So there's lots and lots of lovely stuff coming out from Elzra. And I guess the only difficulty with Catacombs and Castles is if you see it at retail, pick it up, because if it goes the same way as Catacombs, it's going to be pretty tricky to get your hands on it, definitely. And it
I remember when I was looking to get Catacombs, I was looking at some ridiculous 160 quid on eBay.
Yeah, easily.
And I was able to track down this little website, and I think it was Board Game Geeks, and they were still selling it at retail price.
There you go. Exactly. Couldn't press enter, could have fast enough. So fantastic, love it. hit it out the park. Absolutely delighted. Can't wait to get it back to the table. Got Werven's Lair to play as well.
Yeah.
And we've got the original Catacombs to do.
Like I say, I bought all the expansions, so
we cannot wait.
I've got like 15 different characters
It's gonna be so good.
Catacombs and Castles.
So good, yeah.
I've even got 2 gelatinous cubes
Oh my goodness.
that when you play them, you've got to use like the next skill because it's
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So yeah.
superb.
So just just fantastic.
And the gelatinous cubes are squares. They're not round discs.
We're big fans of Elsa, okay? We're big fans. Yeah, they've got our logo on the box.
We're not biased. We're not biased.
But we love their games. It's as simple as that. So that is what that's what we got to the table. What we would like to get off the shelf. I've played Dice Forge.
You played Dice Forge.
You
loved it.
I'd like you to play Dice Forge.
Well, we'll try and play that at some
We shall
time.
try and play that
At some time.
At some point.
Hello, it's 2019.
Godfather. I'd like to play that as well.
Godfather. Oh, you picked that up, did you?
Yeah, I'd like to play that as well. Area Control.
Vassal, isn't it?
Yeah. It's Eric Lang.
Eric Lang.
And Simon.
I thought that was Tom Vassal's game.
No, I don't think so. No.
He might have got his picture in it then.
He might have, yes.
That could be where I'm getting my wires crossed.
Friend of the show, pretty much. So there's a couple of games we're going to try and get to the table. The next thing that we always do is give it a kick, which is all about Kickstarter.
Yay!
Kickstarter. And there are, as normal, there's a couple of Kickstarters that we have
been
seen.
not looking at Kickstarter because all my money ends up going there. So.
I have, I must be honest, but I have also been the same in terms of kind of looking at things and keeping an eye on stuff by potentially chucking them a buck.
Right, okay. So sort of reserving your slot, as it were.
Pretty well, kind of reserving the slot, but also just keeping an eye on the campaigns. I like to see how kind of different publishers kind of deal with their campaigns and the updates and the information that they put out and the information that they kind of don't put out, and the information that they seem to put in the comment section of Kickstarter rather than putting in an update.
The last Kickstarter was in, the guy wasn't terribly communicative.
Ah, okay.
But I got it was dice, and I got the dice absolutely lovely.
All right.
Can't complain there.
Cool.
Gorgeous. Made from lapis lazuli.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're like gemstone dice.
Oh, that's lovely. Like that. Like the lining, sir. So we do have a couple of games that we've been seeing. Both people have been on the show before, because you can't kind of... Because I'm looking at kind of like the people that I've been speaking to, and most of the guys that have been on the Kickstarter list have also been on the show as well. That's just the nature of it. The first one is Atheris Games, Andrew Burkett. Lovely chap.
Mm-hmm.
Generally nice guy. He's got Supernatural Socks, a tabletop game about lost socks. Now, the idea is, where do your socks go? You put them You put them in the laundry. You take them from the laundry. You put them in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
They get washed. You hang them up to dry. You tumble dry them. And then when you go to put them together,
well, that's where you're going wrong, isn't it?
There's one missing.
You tumble dry in them. That's
there's one missing.
You're destroying the planet. What are you doing? Just put them out to dry. Come on.
They're getting eaten. They're getting eaten. So Andrew decided, well, it must be sock ghosts. They must be stealing the socks. They must be stealing the socks. So he's got this game, which is basically it's a game about the ghosts that take the socks from the dryer. It's as with a theorist. They're usually quite simple, very very fun to play, and look absolutely stunning to play at. And also the buy-in on the game is usually kind of next to nothing. Andrew is in a situation where he seems to be doing like 2 or 3 games a year, or his aim is to do kind of 2 or 3 games a year. So players will, they put 3 socks face down in front of them. When they've all placed their socks down, they reveal them in turn order, applying all the card effects. and placing them in the relevant place on the board. And players will be able to pick up 2 ghosts, some which are offensive and defensive. And then all the socks in the dryer move to that player's laundry basket where they score points, and socks in the washer move to the dryer. Players draw back up to their hands. So it's basically washing your socks. It's absolutely fantastic. You get 23 ghost cards, 76 wash cards. You get washer cards, dryer cards, and a pile of lost socks as well. As I say, the kind of the buy-in to get into the game, it's like $19.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's relatively.
What's that in real money?
Real money, you're looking at probably about £16.
Ah, right.
Once you probably put your shipping on, you're probably back up to maybe about 21.
50.
Yeah, 75, 100. It's like Bitcoin. There has been, we'll make sure obviously there's links in the show notes, so you can click on that. As I say, give it a look. Andrew, decent guy, he's been on the show before. The next game that we have been looking at giving a kick is just before Christmas. I had the delight of speaking to Mark Burke and Kira Peevely from Colossal Games. Mm-hmm. And Colossal Games are Colossal Games have released their pretty much their first kind of Kickstarter, which is Western Legends. Mm-hmm. And Western Legends is about deciding whether you want to be lawful good or unlawful bad in the Wild West, whether you want to be holding down the law, or whether you want to be hustling sheep, robbing banks, pinging old ladies on the nose quite hard, giving them a good flick.
That's a choice. That's a life choice.
It is a life choice. You got to live with your choices, as always. It's kind of like a board. There's cards which affect your decisions, and you can decide kind of which side of the barrier you're going to fall on, and that affects your decisions with what you can actually do. It is currently, for a first Kickstarter, it is currently storming it with $258,000 of a $60,000 budget. So it is really storming. Forgot to mention Supernatural Socks has got 16 days to go, and is just over 50%. It's almost at 60% of its funding. So it looks like it's going to go. If you want to find more about Western Legends, then please listen to the show that we had with Mark and Kira, because it was it was an actual lot of fun. But again, 14 days to go. They've got over like 3,000 backers, so it looks like this is the.
So it might have been funded.
Potentially might have been funded. So very, very good, very, very interesting. They seem to be smashing kind of stretch goals left, right, and centre at the moment. Obviously, their kind of pledge box is a little bit higher if you want to get involved in the game. Mm. You're looking at round about.
What actual type of game is it?
It's kind of like it's a deck of cards, point scoring. Let me just go in.
Alright, so it's a deck game then, is it?
Yeah. You get a deck.
Okay.
You get a deck of cards. It's like a. They described it to me as like a tabletop adventure. So you are basically a historical figure, and you earn like up to like a legendary status. So in order to get that legendary status, you do it in a variety of ways. So you like prospect for gold, or you rob banks, you fight bandits, you uphold the law, and the idea is to reach this legendary status before a certain number of preset rounds. And the person that kind of wins, then they win, and they reach their legendary status and end up in the annals of history.
Right.
So it's all very, very, very good fun. Lovely looking game board. Again, you get 12 different characters. Gold cards, fight cards, action cards, money cards. There's a general store. Tokens, player mats. There's miniatures in it. There's bandits in it. There's a sheriff in it. So this is going to be one of these games that, due to the stretch goals, it's going to grow in terms of what the what the eventual offering is. As I say, if you want to dive in, you're looking at round about the $60 mark will get you sheriffs, and this. So if that's the base, if you want to get into kind of like a with some expansions. You can get the legendary version, which is $75, and that's probably works out about 65 quid. 62 to 65 quid, yeah. And you get a Fistful of Extras expansion, which is all unlocked stretch goals, and you get the Good, the Bad, and the Handsome expansion as well. They're doing an automatic.
Have a picture of me in it. What?
Yes, they do. You also get the chance, if you just want to pledge to get into the Pledge Manager, you can spend $9 and you get a 52 poker deck. 50, with obviously the characters' kind of pictures on it as well. So again, 14 days to go, lots of backers, $250,000. Give it a check out. As we say with everything on Kickstarter,
buyer beware.
Buyer beware. Check your sources, check out what they're doing, check their communication, check the comments. Most importantly, check out if they've been on our show. Whoa. Shall we jump on to questions?
Go for it.
Okay. We went and asked the Tinternet webs if they had any questions for us today, because we were recording, and they said, "Go away, you horrible, horrible man.
Fly, you fools! The enemy is upon us. Fly!"
And we asked, like, well, we're recording tonight. Do you have any questions for us at all? Mr. Stephen Tudor, Polyhedron Collider, friend of the show and all-time good man. He was at Wahofelem Magdenga, because he had Polyhedron Collider, but then he decided that there was too many people.
He's gone solo.
He's not gone solo. He's just got his own Twitter account, but he's got the most ridiculous kind of Twitter. Steve, get your Twitter handle sorted out, mate, because I can't even say this, let alone spell it.
Does he know the way?
He knows the Wahofel Madenga, which is just what he says. What was the last game you played for the first time and said, "I bloody love this," and purchase yourself a copy as soon as humanly possible? It's Kingdomino. Kingdomino. It was I remember. It was the Glasgow Game Fest.
Yep.
And I stopped at the stand for the retail guy that was there, and I stood there and went, "Oh, could I buy it and go home and say I bought a game at the Glasgow Game Festival?" And I walked away, and then I turned back, and my absolute outstanding son pressed a copy of Kingdomino in my hand and went, "Father, I have bought this for you."
Oh,
with my own money. I know
that you gave him, but that's beside the point.
No, it's fine. But and so that's how the copy of Kingdomino came about.
Oh man, I forgot he bought it for you. It's man.
I know. It was kind of and I kind of went, "Oh, wow. You're becoming an enabler." just like your father. What about yourself?
We talked about this, and I wasn't sure. But
Gladiatores.
Gladiatores jumped right into my head. Because I sat down and played it, and by the time we'd finished playing it, I was like, I want to own this.
Yes.
But it's not been released yet.
It's not even Kickstart. Justin Morgan Davis from Bad Cat Games is going to be releasing that over the next couple of months on the Kickstarter, and there's a healthy queue of us that would like to get their hands on it and definitely would like to kind of play it. So thank you, Steve Tudor Waffalogamingadenga. Get your Twitter name sorted out,
I don't think he knows the way.
It's just awful. Both sides of my table, Giles Pound, friend of the show, at Giles Pound, he says, "What are your views on solo variants of multiplayer games? I guess you'd be talking about Scythe and Viticulture and its Automata, and also I guess Dark Souls allows you to play single player. What are your views on solo variations of multiplayer games?"
Well, there's lots of games that could just be played solo if you really wanted to. So
Yeah.
all your sort of dungeon crawling games, you could easily just play all 4 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the enemies you're fighting all have procedures on what they're going to do.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
I wanted to buy one of the Coin series games.
Yeah.
Because they're famous for their
they've got
Automata Coin series games. So that's Fire on the Lake.
Katie Aidley, she talks about them an awful lot. Yeah, Fire on the Lake. That's
Cuba Libre was the one I wanted to get hold of, but
yeah.
it's like gold dust just now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for a reprint. I don't have any solo games in my collection, and I'm thinking these days that there is the odd afternoon, especially over Christmas there, I had the odd afternoon where the big dining table set up because we had Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
So I've got the space to lay a big board game out and just leave it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because I'm not working or anything.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be interesting. I think we touched on this before about things like the Descent app and things like that, where you can play that now solo player, because you need basically, you want to play these games, you can either play it yourself, or you've got like you've almost got like a kind of an app that can do that version for you.
Well, it's like I've got Gloomhaven for in the other room.
Yeah.
And getting 3 other people to invest the amount of time that's needed to get through that game is going to be a nightmare for them.
I know. And also the fact that you've had to put Gloomhaven on the other room because it pretty much takes up the other room.
Well, it doesn't. It takes up a lot of room.
Yeah.
It physically takes up a big space.
Yeah.
Because it's a big ass box.
It is, yeah.
But it's the time sink,
Yeah.
There's 95 missions in it. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't play all 95 in a playthrough.
No, you don't have to. No, you can retire. You get your retire for your character if they reach a certain.
If they
stage.
reach their life goal,
Yeah.
then
That's it.
character retired. But each one of those missions is an hour.
Yeah.
So you're looking at possibly hitting 95 hours to play the game.
Which is a fair chunk of change.
Getting mates to sit and do that.
That's a big commitment.
I was meant to be doing it at the club, and the guys that all signed up to play at the club just kept on, no, I'm not making it along tonight. I was like, all right, fine.
It's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good. So solos, yeah, we like them. We think they're definitely doable.
I see the place for them now. Before, I used to not see the place for a solo game.
Yeah.
Especially not one that's famed for being a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But
which I think maybe that's why Fantasy Flight are doing that with Imperial Assault. They've brought out one for Imperial Assault. As I say, Jamie Stegmaier, he always includes solo player variants of his games as standard. He did it for Viticulture. He did it for Scythe. Apparently, he's going to do it for, or he has done it for Charterstone as well. Because Luke Hector from the Broken Meeple, he's been playing the solo variant of Charterstone.
I have to see how the how Viticulture solo play works. That game just seems you need the other people there.
It's kind of interesting because the cards just say you're going to place workers here, they're going to place workers there, they're going to place this here, they're going to play this here. I don't think they obviously don't play cards or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just place them in certain places depending on when they're going to be playing, so it's kind of interesting.
I just no.
I think you have to. It depends. I think you have to see how it would.
I would have to see it because the whole like fighting over your placement is the game.
I know. We've also got unpopular mechanic. Well, thank you for your question, Giles.
Yes, yeah.
You stunning person. In general, who is a good supporter of the show.
Oh,
yeah, he is. He's a nice guy. And finally, we've got unpopular mechanics on Unmech, who says, "What's the best bit of a munchie box, and is it morally acceptable to eat one in daylight?"
Oh, for me, it's Bakura.
Okay.
Definitely Bakura.
Okay. Is it acceptable to eat in daylight? It depends.
Did you get it? You know, is it the case you've just woken up, your head's pounding, and you absolutely need to eat? Then yeah.
Did you get it the night before? I guess is the question.
Yeah. Well,
I think that is a big. I think that could be seen as a big decider.
You've really got to sit down with a mirror if you're eating that for lunch. You got to look at the mirror as you're eating and go, "Why?
I know.
Why am I doing this?"
I know, but then, see, I'm in a different place with Munchie boxes because of the potential gluten.
You're
thing.
like, oh no, my one weakness, wheat.
I cannot sit down and have a chicken pakora. It depends where you go, because generally, if I go to like say, like an Indian,
if
takeaway,
it's an
Indian takeaway,
if
Bangladesh takeaway, anything like that, then they generally just cook with chickpea flour. So I am golden.
Or glam flour.
Yeah, I'm golden to go. I am
happy
little man.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
what I mean? It's always, always, always good. Yeah, so it's pretty. Absolutely.
Actually, I want a munch box now.
Absolutely. You're not allowed one.
I know I'm not allowed one. I also want an Iron Brew before they're gone.
It's fine.
I'm not allowed to drink Iron Brew, but they're gone, and I want one. I want to taste one before it's gone.
I will tell you what. I will buy one on the way home, and I will tell you what it's like. I will describe it in detail. I will do an Iron Brew tasting.
No
podcast.
Diet one. It's got to
no
be
diet. Proper. I'm going to do a half-hour description. We're going to stick it on the feed, and we're just going to watch the downloads go. And at the end, we're going to say, "Now remember, if you want another episode of us drinking another can of Iron Brew." Or potentially the glass bottle.
Aye, but they're changing the recipe.
I know that they're changing the recipe.
Why are they doing that? Why?
Our American listeners are going to have no idea. For our American listeners, hello or howdy.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all. There's a traditional Scottish drink called Iron Brew, which is spelled IRN BRU. Which became famous because it had traces of iron in it, and its tagline used to be made in Scotland from girders, or iron girders, and it was known to basically have a couple of properties. It was extremely sweet.
It's bright orange.
Bright orange. It had its own particular taste, and also it was also seen as a hangover cure. It was known. Perfect. It was known universally across Scotland, no matter where you were from, that if you had too much kind of maybe adult soft drinks the night before, that if you had a pounding head, the best thing to do is, as you were on your way home with your arm getting laden down with your kebab, in your other hand you would have a glass,
big bottle of juice,
glass bottle, and as we would call in Glasgow, a bottle of ginger. And you would have that with you, and then what you would do is you would go home, fall asleep face first in your kebab of your choice, but you'd wake up the next morning with obviously lettuce stuck to your side of your head, but you'd lean over and there would be a bottle of Iron Brew. It wouldn't matter if it was opened the night before. If you'd had a cheeky drink. How do you
describe Iron Brew to someone? If you think of bubble gum,
yes,
a sort of fruit bubble gum,
a fruity kind of bubble gum that
which
basically will dissolve.
Ginger and junipers is the taste of Iron Brew.
Yeah, and it kind of will dissolve your teeth and it will coat your tongue.
And it's bright orange.
It's bright orange, and it is the nectar of the.
Oh, it's manna of the gods.
It's fantastic. But what has happened is recently, due to potentialities of a sugar tax in Scotland, Iron Brew has decided to change its recipe.
Yeah.
Which has resulted in there being
fury
and
much gnashing of teeth.
People going out and basically buying crates and crates of Iron Brew before it goes out of existence. Do you know what I mean? And you can tax our drinks, but you'll never take our freedom.
The Iron Brew we've got now isn't Iron Brew that we had when we were kids.
Exactly, it's completely different anyway. So
because they reduced the amount of ginger in it to sell it to the English, because the English wouldn't drink it.
Exactly.
Oh, it's too
gingery. Exactly. So get
burns my mouth. It's meant to burn your mouth.
It's meant to put hairs on your chest.
You know it's meant to burn your mouth so you don't feel the sugar killing your pancreas.
Other types of diabetes are available. Let's do some shout outs. because it's been a while since we do shout-outs, and we obviously do shout-outs on a regular basis across the social medias.
Ooh.
But a couple of people that you should be wanting to if you like us, then certainly give these people a listen. I shall run through a very quick link. All are very good fun, and certainly worth a potential download on your podcast catcher of choice. Monster D.
Just the one, because you've not to take up your time.
Absolutely.
You're meant to be downloading us.
Absolutely. Kind of download them, but maybe not listen to them. It's up to yourself. Just to give them the figures. Monster Dear Monster, which is all about... Well, it concentrates around monsters, mythology. They do specials like on, say, monsters from Dark Souls, Warhammer. They've done stuff on Kaiju. Okay. It's kind of like monsters within popular culture. They've done specials on Bloodborne and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Days of Future Cast, which is basically the podcast where they go through the 1990s X-Men cartoons.
Oh.
And talk about them and how wonderful.
Now here, Wolverine could have ended the entire thing and killed the bad guy, but instead he cut down a tree to land on him.
Basically. We've got the fantastic Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, which is Lake Leafday, who produces more podcasts than we do.
Ooh.
He's like 3 a week.
Oh my God.
He's trying to catch up with us.
He
does like a Kickstarter one, he does a family gaming one, he does a role-playing game one. He's good fun, he's a good guy, his family is adorable when you hear them talking. He's got like his kids talking on the show, which is absolutely fantastic. The CNC Geekcast, which is 2 guys talking about films with speech impediments. They cover all the recent ones. Monster of the Week, which is a supernatural podcast. Twin Humanities, which is Paddy and CJ, massive friends of the show, good mates of mine, who are currently covering everything from Warframe to anime to JoJo's Great Adventure to Tokusatsu, anything along those lines, stuff they like to do.
They won't be covering Hunter Call of the Wild.
Probably not. We've got How to Kill an Hour, which is all about how to kill an hour, different things you can do with your time. Don't give up Skeleton, which is a Dark Souls player podcast for people to allow to talk about how they got into Dark Souls. And there's going to be more of them because they're remastering Dark Souls for the PlayStation 4.
I heard someone was talking about that today.
And for the Switch as well.
And for the Switch?
Yeah, for the Nintendo Switch. You're going to be.
Because if you think Dark Souls, you think Nintendo.
No.
And Switch.
No. I think Mario. Well, my son thinks Mario because that's all he's been watching. We've got God is a Geek, which you should be checking out. The wonderful Dark Insight, and of course the fantastic and lovely Staying In podcast.
Yeah.
With who is it? I'm trying to remember the names again. With Dan and Chris.
Dan and Chris.
And Peter.
Chris, Dan, Pete.
And Sam. See, I got them all. I didn't even have to write them down. There we go. We've got the Broken Meeple with Luke Hector, and obviously the fantastic Polyhedron Collider. Special mention to the Expanded Universe, who have just done an episode on the Star Wars Christmas special, which is which is absolutely fantastic. So if you like us, then kind of check them out. And I think that is about it, really.
That's about it.
A couple of housekeeping things to mention. If you have liked what you've listened to, then please, the best way to support the show is to do a couple of things. You can jump onto Facebook, and you can like the page, and you can keep up. We do try to post on Facebook on a regular basis, which is facebook.com/We're Not Wizards. Best place to find us is on Twitter, which is We're Not Wizards. You can find us on Instagram, which is We're Not Wizards as well. You can find us on YouTube, because all of our episodes get automatically uploaded to YouTube thanks to our podcast host Podbean.
Oh, that's nice.
You can find it directly by going to youtube.com/C/We're Not Wizards Tabletop Podcast, because we've got 240 subscribers and I've no idea how that happened, I'll be perfectly honest. You can find us on Stitcher, and you can find us on Acast. You can email us on magic@we'renotwizards.com or
.co.uk.
That's the one!
Yes, nailed it.
If you like us, if you jump onto Apple Podcasts, if you drop us a subscription, because that helps us remarkably well. At one point over the Christmas holidays, we were in the top 100 in the American Apple Podcast charts. We actually went as high as highest position 67. I have no idea either. I don't know. But we now have more listeners in America than we have in the UK. So UK, what you doing? Catch up. For God's sake. You can't let them take over. Or, and if you do like us a lot, please feel free to give us a rating, because that really helps, or leave us a review. As we say, if you are going to give us a review, don't give us a 10, because that makes us big-headed.
It does.
But don't give us a 1, because that makes us
Gnail and wash our teeth.
Cry. I'm trying to like. I'm trying to play like.
I don't know. He's doing mannequin movements.
It's like a mime
He's scaring
artist.
me.
A mime artist. Give us a 5.
He's closer to the door. I can't get out.
Give us a 5, because it's average, and we're very
distinctly average.
Distinctly average. Let's face it. Obviously, there's ways we've still got Redbubble and we've still got Patreon, but we never really talk about them.
No.
If you know, it's like, I know, doesn't matter. It's fine. Couple of people kind of come up the show in the next couple of weeks. We have got Luke Hector from the Broken Meeple is going to be coming on. We have got Derek Funkhauser from the Boardhouse Spotlight, David Wright from Tabletop Scotland, which is going to be a massive tabletop conference thingy, which is going to be coming at some point this year. He's going to be on the show. We've got as I say, we have also got Unlucky Frog Gaming, which is our Scottish contingency, our other Scottish podcast. Rivals are going to be coming on, and I'm going to be mucking around with their audio to make them sound rubbish. And Bez is coming. What did you say there? And Bez, they're coming back on as well, so that should be an awful lot of fun, as well as Katie is coming back on to tell us the state of our gaming corner after Christmas.
There we go.
And that's really about it.
That's about it.
Yes. So, as always, it is, I guess we just need to say goodbye. So it is a goodbye from Colin. Say goodbye, Colin.
Guten Tag. That's hello.
That's not even a goodbye. That's rubbish. And it's a goodbye from me. Hello. Remember, stay safe, roll 6s, get Kingdomino if you don't have it.
Yeah, totally.
Just buy it, And Happy New Year, I guess, and look out for all this stupid numbers of content. We're not going to do 97 episodes, that's just silly. No. We're going to do 2. We're going to do 1 now, we're going to do 1 in June, and we're going to do a Christmas special.
Yep.
And that's about it. But until the next time, say goodbye, Colin.
See you in 2019.
And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.